Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I have with us Ray Higdon. Ray and Jessica Higdon are coming in from Starles, Florida to speak at the event in June, and I'm so excited about that. They have been powerful mentors in my life, have made huge changes for the 2 years I've been working with them, so it's been pretty exciting. So thank you so much for talking to us today, Ray. And I want to just ask if you can give us a little bit of the background of yourself, and then we'll talk a bit about what we're going to be talking about at the event.
Yeah, absolutely, and honored to be on here, and thanks so much. And, you know, Jessica and I have always so much fun working with you, Edna, and you're just awesome. Just bring a great energy to the marketplace, and we're so excited to help you out. So yeah, you know, my background, you know, I was working away in corporate America, and I was unsatisfied. I was unfulfilled, and I was spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing. And I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel because I saw my boss and his boss and her boss, and they were all working nonstop, had the same kind of family life that I had, which meant they hardly ever seen them. And I just decided that I'd had enough and I wanted to change. And so, you know, I left. I took a lot of risk, and I left that job, you know, and I was making pretty good money. I was making about $80,000 a year, and, you know, with no college degree, that's not too bad. It's respectable. Yeah. And, you know, I went on my own and became an entrepreneur, and, you know, had my ups and downs. I had, you know, 4 years I was in real estate, and, you know, then when the market changed down here in Florida, I didn't have the market intelligence that you have, Edna, of longevity and, you know, seeing it, you know, long term. And so I got crushed, and I ended up in personal foreclosure. I lost everything that I'd ever made, and life was no fun. About a year of being in the muck and mire and just being devastated financially, mentally, spiritually, I decided to give it another go, and I actually got involved in network marketing. At the time, that was the avenue that I thought made the most sense for me, and I just went after it, and I applied online marketing techniques combined with, you know, just hardcore prospecting, and you know, in 5 months, I was back making $10,000 a month, and then 7 months, $40,000 a month, 10 months, $50,000 a month, and became the number one income earner in that company. And since then, our life has just continued to skyrocket. And, you know, we've kind of built a good brand online, a good presence, and that's one of the things that we teach people. And, you know, from 2009 being in personal foreclosure to last year doing over $2 million in revenue, we've been able to see some pretty amazing things that really work, and they actually work for any industry. And so now we help insurance agents, realtors, real estate investors. We help people in all different niches, help them create a profitable online presence, and that's what we'll be teaching at the event as well.
Oh, I'm so excited to see that. You know, from me working with you, and I'm a slow learner when it comes to stuff with the internet, but I have a presence now, and I'm getting
you sure do.
Yeah, people contacting me, and it's so exciting for me because a year and a half ago I had nothing online. I had a website, but there was no interaction at all. So I've seen it firsthand, love it, and I can't wait to share that with everyone. Can you tell us a little bit more about your real estate background and kind of I think one of the things you've told me in the past is that you actually had real estate investment groups set up in different areas?
Yeah, you know, me and a partner who we both actually worked together at my last job back in 2004, we were working at this insurance company, and we decided to team up, and we started buying low-income rental houses. So we were buying, you know, single families, duplexes, triplexes, and over the course of a year, we actually got 37 rental units, and they were all cash flowing, you know, somewhere $100, $150 per door per month. And there were so many things that we didn't know.
Yeah.
So we were attempting to do our own repairs. We were collecting cash. We were doing about every mistake you can possibly make as a landlord. And then I started flipping homes, and I realized that, you know what, I want to work with investors. And so I started a real estate investor association, and it quickly grew. So we had chapters in Naples, Florida, in Cape Coral, Florida, in Fort Myers, Florida, in Port Charlotte, Florida. We actually opened up chapters, believe it or not, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Morgantown, West Virginia. And these were people that started following me online that wanted to open up their own chapters in their own cities, and we actually helped them launch those. And so, we've been able to, to do some really, really cool stuff to attract the perfect people to us, and it's been an exciting journey.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I know what took place in the States with the market. So, I mean, there was a lot of people hurt with that, with the market change. And so even though there were some things that a person could see, we could not see that devastation that happened there. So there was a lot of people hurt in that. We're a little bit fortunate that way in Canada, as they're very stringent on mortgage guidelines here. And I think it's a lot tougher to buy a property here than was there at the time. It might be a little bit easier now. And that's one thing we really have going for us in Canada. So, yeah, very
that's a good thing, because I remember seeing janitors that were applying for and getting approved for $400,000 houses, and that was a normal thing. I mean, the guy behind the gas pump had 2 investment condos. And I'm telling you, it was madness down here. Everyone was fudging numbers. Everyone was, I mean, it was pretty crazy. It was definitely out of hand. Yeah, we do have some safety factors in place. And I think that's one of the reasons why we attract investors from all over the world to Canada. It is because they see us as a very safe haven for their money, and they're not even really worried about growth. They're just worried about keeping their money safe, and if they get growth, then that's just a bonus. But we see a lot of that from out of the country investors, is they just want some safety. They've kind of been beat up, and they want to see some principal return. The heck with just regular returns. Right.
So, and then with Saskatchewan, we've got so many resources, and we've kind of been the dog's breakfast for 50 years. So to see the growth we're having in Saskatchewan over the last 10 years even is phenomenal, and to see what's going forward is very, very exciting. So we can't wait to share that with you too, because you might become a Saskatchewan fan, even though when I first met you couldn't even say Saskatchewan. I think it was like Saskatchewan.
Yes, I was saying Sasquatch land. I was saying all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah, I mean, hey, we're always looking for good investments. So you just might get me as a buyer. I'm starting to think maybe that's why you asked me to speak.
Well, we got to educate you too, so it'll be awesome. So, and is there anything else like events like this? How do you think that they're important to people?
It's hard to even put a price tag on it. And let me give you one example. I was at an event in Vegas, and I met a gentleman for the very first time. We had never met before, and quite honestly, I don't know that we would have met had I not gone to that event. That guy ended up being a great JV partner for us, and we've actually made well over $1 million because of that relationship. And so when you go to an event, there are a few things. Number one, you're going to learn strategies and tactics and tips that are working in the current marketplace that can absolutely help you propel your business. Number two, you don't know when your next $1 million partner is going to stick his hand out at an event or her hand out at an event and totally change your life. And so we go to so many events because they're just so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And just by you saying that reminds me that, one of our partners who are going to be at the event, Gary and Gina Detwiller, a father-daughter team, we met them at the very first real estate training course we took in Saskatoon. And to this day, we own over 200 properties with them valued at, 20, 30, I don't know, 30 million probably between the two of us. And we met them at our first course. We didn't start doing business together right away. We were both learning. But they had a work ethic. They had ambition, and we just hit it off, made friends with them right from that day. And it was probably about 2 years later that we did our first deal together, and we haven't stopped, and we're continually looking at properties with them. We really gel we have different strengths, and it works so good for us.
That is awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and one of our speakers too, we started recently joint venturing with. He was one of the winners of the Hall of Fame award that Rich Dad Poor Dad offers.
Wow.
And we met him at an event a year ago, and I've already started doing work with him. He's another one of our speakers. So it is amazing who you meet at events. Even, the people, even though most of your stuff, or actually all of it so far, has been in the U.S., we've met some really interesting and people that we know that someday there will be some business relationship there in your group. It's been phenomenal as well.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So one point that you kind of always hammered home in any of the education events that you were teaching is the importance of spending money on yourself for self-education. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, in the last 24 months, in the last 2 years, my wife and I have invested over $200,000 in coaching. And I think some people might think that's impossible. How do you do that? Well, you seek out people and events and courses and things like that. You seek out individuals that have either the knowledge that you want to acquire or the lifestyle that you want, and you hire them and you work with them. And I remember this was just early last year. We had a couple things happen, and I wanted to invest in this coaching program. And it was $50,000, and I wanted it. And so I go to my wife and I said, hey, I want to do this. I think it's really going to help our business. It's going to help us serve the community. It's going to help us add value to our brand. I really think it's a good idea for us to do it. At the time, we were actually about to put down a very large sum of money on the purchase of our home, because we were buying a new home, and it's 2 times more expensive than any home we've ever had. And, so it was a lot of money going out. And on top of that, we had just got hit with a surprise IRS bill of over $250,000. And so, there's a little bit of financial stress there. And, times were, a little bit interesting because, those had 2 pretty large bills. And she says to me, she goes, Ray, right now, it's just not a good time to invest $50,000. And my response was, it's never a bad time to make more money. And that's what people need to understand. They need to stop looking at the price tag and instead start looking at the benefit. Because let me tell you, last year, that $50,000 investment made us well over $350,000. Now, it is never a bad time to make more money. So to invest in yourself, to fly to Saskatchewan and put yourself up in a hotel and attend the event for these 3 days, don't look at the cost. Look at the benefit. What if this created total freedom for you? What if it was able to change your life in a different direction and impact the lives of your descendants and your current family and everybody? Well, I guess it'd be worth it, wouldn't it?
Oh, totally. I am totally on board with that. We've spent a lot on our education as well. And, you don't always think to track it. So I don't think it was until you started telling us how much you'd spent that we started looking into, when we have to think about how much we've probably spent. And, right up there with you, we spent a lot of money on education, and it's been worth every penny. Even one of my good close friends says to me the other day, Edna, we need to talk. I need to sit down with you. She says, I have seen such massive growth with you in the last 2-3 years, and I'm being left behind. And it wasn't that many years ago. We were in the same spot. What are you doing different? And I said, you know what? Never stopped investing in myself, and you did.
Yep.
That was a huge difference. And
wow.
you think of that. They buy a property in Phoenix, a second home. They might buy a cabin. They buy a new vehicle, and they have maybe more stuff than we do. I'm not sure, but they stop investing in themselves, and that's when you start not even just not going anywhere. You're actually going backwards, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it's interesting to see those analogies, even from other people's point of view. Like, what did I do different from you? Well, this is what I see.
Very true.
Yeah. And there's one other thing I want to ask you about, and I can't remember the terminology, but I remember like your exact wording. But it's about that you won't be able to sell anything if you can't buy anything. And I know you've talked about that many times in your different courses, because a lot of people are worried. Oh, I just don't want to buy anything. Can you talk about that? Do you know what analogy I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's if there's so many people out there that they aren't good buyers, and they have resistance to buying anything, they're reluctant to invest in their future, they're, maybe some people even, they have negative energy toward those that sell things. And here's the problem. You'll never become that which you despise. And so if you're not a good buyer, and if you have any kind of negative energy toward those that make a living selling, or those that are selling something, whether it's good or bad or whatever, then you're just not going to attract buyers. Because if you have negative energy toward sellers, then how can you possibly become a seller yourself? And so I'll tell you, I'm one of the easiest sales. I love buying. I buy courses all the time. I attend events all the time. I'm constantly buying books. I'm constantly investing in my education. And I think that's why, we attract so many buyers. And, like we have a new product that we've been launching this past week. We've already had over 1,200 people buy it. And, and I really think, I don't think that's like luck. I don't think it's like, oh, we got lucky on this one. No, it's because we're such good buyers ourselves, and that's who we attract.
And I've been following that course, and that 3-minute expert, I can see why 1,200 people would buy, because you know what? $297 product today. I believe it goes up to $497 tomorrow.
Yep.
It's powerful. That will change so many people's lives. That's why the sales are coming, and people are open to that. People are open to looking at changing their lives, doing something different, and following people who've done it. And not 100 years ago either, but right now in the present,
right,
up to 5 years ago, that's the people that you need to learn from. And I like you. I buy everything. People laugh at me sometime. I go to Tupperware show, I buy everything. I go to Pampered Chef the other day, I buy $200 worth of stuff. but it's all great stuff. And if I wasn't invited to stuff like that, and learned about different ways to, make your life easier at home and stuff like that, I wouldn't buy it, because I wouldn't even know about it. So I always appreciate it when people show me stuff that's going to make my life better. I love it.
Totally.
And that, I think, is again why I'm okay with selling stuff. It's because I'm a buyer. I love it when salespeople show me stuff. And I also have always thought that, if somebody's an employee and you go into the store and it doesn't matter to them one way or another, it doesn't affect their wage one way or another if you buy something, whether it's a couch or a shirt or a phone, there's no effort. There's no effort to make
right.
you a customer, unless they happen to be the business owner. But most business owners have to have employees, right? And I see that
That's
every day. We're trying to get a lending, working with a lender right now. He's just salary. He's not commission. You can tell he doesn't return your
yep.
call. We get to an end of a close date and there's just no incentive whatsoever. It's like, oh, well, I was busy. Oh, well, I was on a course. Oh, well, yeah,
Yep.
and you deal with a mortgage broker, somebody who makes their living through getting the deal done. You get your deal done. They work hard.
That's right. Personally, I've thought this since I was in 8th grade. I thought that every single person on the planet should earn some form of commission. And what you would see is a lot of the pencil sharpening, non-motivated people. Unfortunately, they would get moved into factory jobs. And, what if the guy at the fast food counter got paid some form of commission based on customer service? Just imagine that. How much different would our lives be when you walk into a clothing store and the person's on their phone behind the counter talking about last night's episode of Dancing with the Stars, versus helping you? Because they don't care. They're going to get paid anyway. And so I absolutely agree with you. I think everyone should earn some form of commission. You would see a big shift in this entire world.
I totally agree with you. You know what, Ray? This has been a very, very good call. I'm so excited to have you coming to Regina, Saskatchewan. It's like I can't wait to share your knowledge with the people here. They just need to know some of this stuff. So thank you very, very much for taking this time with us. And we will see you in, about 2 weeks almost, that you'll be coming to Saskatchewan for the first time ever.
I'm excited, and I'm especially excited that you asked me to come up during the summer.
Yes. We wouldn't dare torture you with the winter. Well, thanks again very much, Ray, and I will let you go, and we will be talking to you very, very soon.
Thanks so much. See you soon.
Okay, Ray. Bye-bye.